not grow old with time. Inevitably, one day it will reappear with a young spirit to settle scores. Isn't there a desire for revenge in all wars around the world? There are many nations that want to take revenge on the Russian Federation, and one of these nations is Chechens. It is well known that there have been long wars between the Russian Federation and the Chechens, and which have created an unending enmity between the Russians and Chechens. This enmity seems to have ended with the war between Russia and Ukraine, and it started again, but it still continues. In recent days, the Free Russian Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps have carried out a remarkable operation. According to reports, these groups are conducting active operations in the Belgorod and the Kursk region of the Russian Federation, and some sources state that the situation in these regions are becoming increasingly active. And there is also information that the helicopters of the Ukrainian Armed Forces are actively participating in the operations in the Belgorod region. Chechens have also announced that their participation in this operation, and they recently released a video saying that they will take revenge on Russia. So what are the claims and developments on this regard? Let's analyze these developments together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to bring you developments regarding Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and map reports. And you can also support me and my team by using the super thanks button below the videos. Thank you for your support in advance, and let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. Well, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine in war-torn Eastern Europe continues to unfold in remarkable ways, and while the fighting is intense on many fronts, the Russian armed forces have failed to make significant progress after Avdiivka. Ukraine's defense lines are quite active and effective in resisting the attacks of the Russian army. The heavy fatigue and wear and tear felt by the Russian army is likely to be felt in the times to come. The situation is further complicated by the fact that during this sensitive period, the Russian Federation is facing cross-bordering operations launched by the Russian Volunteer Corps and the Free Russian Legion. According to the latest updates, this operation is in full force. In many places, units of the Russian Legion and soldiers of the Russian Volunteer Corps are inflicting serious damage against the Russian border guards. The government of the Russian Federation, as we have already reported, continues its strategy of hiding the Russian origin of those carrying out these operations. However, in many images coming from the field, members of the Legion are openly declaring their Russian origin. The leadership of the Russian Federation has shown a serious weakness in this situation, which has led to criticisms and backlash among the Russian citizens. Who took advantage of this weakness? As we mentioned in the introduction of our report, one of those groups is the Chechens. The enmity between Chechens and the Russians have been going on for years. And even though Ramazan Kadyrov acts as a governor appointed by the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, Chechens have not forgotten the suffering and the persecution of the past, and they still harbor deep resentment against Russia. Recently, an interesting image came from Belgorod. It shows Chechen soldiers involved in the operations in Belgorod. Speaking in the video in question, the Chechen soldier makes the following statements on the subject. Well, we have entered deep into Russia, and this is just the beginning. Soon we will enter the entire Caucasus Chechen territory as liberators, and in Russia's war against innocent Ukrainians, we justly sided with the Ukrainians. We are here to support their just struggle, and we know that there are still Chechens fighting for the Russian armed forces, and we have an appeal to them. Don't be a party to what this cruel and murderous regime is doing, and don't believe Ramazan Kadyrov, who thinks he is the head of the state and a victorious commander. If they finish with you, they will throw you away like a garbage, and realize this early. Take action against the oppressor. Join us to liberate Ukraine and the lands of Chechnya and the Caucasus. Kadyrov, many surprises awaits you soon. The Chechen fighters taking part in the battle in the Belgorod are allegedly people who have resisted the Russian occupation of Chechnya in the past. They had previously fought against Russian forces in Syria in revenge against Russia, and having stepped aside after Kadyrov took full control of Chechnya. With the outbreak of the war in Ukraine, this new front moved to Ukraine to fight alongside of Ukrainians against the Russians. Chechens have deep-rooted disagreements with Russia, and a major source of these disagreements is Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation. And Putin's leadership is seen as a major instigator for the Chechens. Moreover, Chechens are recognized among the warrior communities of the Caucasus for their fighting spirits. According to various sources, the biggest obstacle to Chechen independence from Russia is the ruler of Ramazan Kadyrov, a loyal servant of Vladimir Putin. Since Kadyrov's regime does not enjoy the support of large sections of Chechen population, this explains why Chechen citizens have sided with Ukraine. The participation of Chechen fighters in the war with Free Russian Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps is expected to have a significant impact on the regional balance. Chechens are considered to be adept at fighting against difficulties due to their geographical conditions, their combat experience, and, in particular, their familiarity with the structure and the tactics of the Russian army give them a considerable advantage. The fact that the Russian army once operated on Chechen territory has given Chechen fighters a deep understanding and experience of the Russian military forces. The Chechens now fighting alongside the Free Russian Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps in the Belgorod are all well aware of the weaknesses of this army and that they have faced in the past. As the latest events in Belgorod region continue, there are suggestions that the participation of the Chechen fighters in the war will have a significant impact on the regional balance. However, there is another noteworthy development, and this concerns the Ukrainian Armed Forces. In previous reports, we have mentioned military operations alongside the Russian Federation, inside the Russian Federation, I'm so sorry for that, and these operations were usually characterized by the participation of the Russian Volunteer Corps and the Free Russian Legion. Now, for the first time, it appears that the Ukrainian Armed Forces are also participating in the comprehensive operation within the borders of the Russian Federation. According to reports, several Ukrainian Air Force helicopters have entered the region to support the operations conducted by the Free Russian Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps in Belgorod. The main tasks of the helicopters are reportedly reconnaissance and strikes against the Russian targets. Although no official announcement has been made so far about the operation carried out by the helicopters, many sources say that the initiative is a sign of the expansion of the war into the Russian territory. While the administration and military leadership of the Russian Federation are merely watching these developments, efforts to stop the offensive has so far failed. So, how could the participation of Chechen fighters in the Belgorod operation change the regional balance of power? So, what kind of turning point could be the Ukrainian Air Force's helicopter participation in the operation in Belgorod region have on the course of the war? Let me know in the comments, because you know that I read and I care about all of the comments.